Race and gender equality continues to make headlines, and one woman who has been leading the conversation is Michelle Lee, co-founder of the Very Asian Foundation. She's an award-winning anchor from our Tegna station in St. Louis. I'm so excited that you are here, Michelle, and really putting this conversation of culture and diversity, to the forefront. As women in broadcasting, we get a lot of viewers who say some things that are not so nice.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, thank you. First of all, big fan of you. Second of all, I don't really know if I'm leading a conversation, but I'm just trying to meet a moment, right? I think a lot of people, no matter what they look like, no matter where they were raised or who raised them, they want to be able to bring their full humanity to spaces. So whatever that looks like, as an adoptee, my parents are white, my husband's white, my kid is multiracial, and I just feel like we can't live in silos anymore, right?
And
no one's living in a silo.
That really brought this to your attention was when you had a viewer say, "Keep Asian to yourself." What did that make you feel like?
It was actually very sad for me. But it was on New Year's Day and we were talking about what Americans eat on New Year's. And I just at the very end said, and I had dumpling soup because that's what a lot of Korean people do. I've worked really hard to bring culture into my life, especially as an adoptee. And so this woman called and said, she's just being very Asian and she needs to keep her Korean to herself. And so I shared me listening to that video or the voicemail, and it went crazy viral. This is January 1st. So, it was painful to hear. By far, again, not the worst thing I've heard, but I just thought, gosh, in this day and age, what was the harm? And every culture has a dumpling.
Exactly.
And who doesn't like a dumpling? If you want to be honest, let's be honest. What do you got against dumplings? They're so delicious.
Is that what inspired you to create the Very Asian Foundation?
Yes. So basically, when that went viral, we sold Very Asian T-shirts to raise money for the Asian American Journalists Association, and then Ellen called, and so like Ellen DeGeneres, and
like
said,
the Ellen.
Yeah, and it was like, well, I want you to come on the show. So. Yes. And she gave me $15,000. So we said, well, let's launch the Very Asian Foundation. And, if we do work for a year and it's successful, then great, we'll keep going.
And you really do hope that this foundation just at least sparks conversations among, a few people, if not more than that.
I think so, because again, it's not just about showing up for ourselves. It's about showing up for others. It's about solidarity. Because in that Very Asian moment, I was nervous. I was afraid that I wasn't Asian enough to even represent a conversation because I was an adoptee. We all have relationships in our lives that aren't just fully 100% very Asian. But when I go on TV, people might not know my whole story.
Right.
They might not know that I'm from the Midwest, or that I have Missouri pride or adoptee pride or all these things. And so I think that's just a conversation that when you see someone, there's so much more that you don't see. And if you are allowed to bring your full self to a space, then you can lead with empathy in so many other ways.
So I love the fact that you're opening up this conversation. Of course, you were speaking at Inform's event tonight, their capstone event, and you're going to be sharing your message with them. Inform is an organization that provides the opportunity for women to build and strengthen professional networks. So if you'd like to learn more about them, I have information for you on 13onyourside.com. Thank you so much for joining us and sharing your story.
Oh my gosh, thanks.